Well, hello everyone. So, I had another video I made. I just don't like the way it came out. I just kind of watched it on my phone real quick. So, I'm going to give you a recap. It's going to be a short little Friday afternoon. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but out at the flea market, I did basically 3 tarps, wrapped everything to where it's all, pretty much sealed off from the rest of the world. I'm not going to be out there this weekend. I'm going to take the weekend off to kind of reorganize some things at the shop, get some, get the totes, or not the totes, get the storage units kind of under control and try to, basically now it's not just about going through and getting rid of stuff, it's about organizing the stuff I have and putting it in the spots where they need to belong and see what's going to fit, what doesn't. So now I'm starting to go through the organization process and, finding out what tools I'm going to keep, what I'm going to sell. And it's a beautiful weekend. I'm going to take some time to myself, I'm still going to be working, but I'm not going to be under pressure, under a timeline. In other words, I don't have to be somewhere at a certain time. I have to leave at a certain time. So it gives me the freedom on how I like to work. Also, some inserts came in today for a door that I'm going to do. I'm going to be doing a door conversion. So I'm going to take an existing door and kind of refresh it and making it look good. So I'm going to do that Monday or Tuesday, and then Monday I got a little meeting on something I'm thinking about doing, but I got a business meeting on Monday, and we'll see what happens there. Basically, kind of the purpose of these videos is the journey that I'm going on when you went down the wrong road for too long, and now you got to figure out how to get back on track. And I don't even know if I'm getting back on track or if I'm going down the wrong road again. I don't know, but it's the choices I'm making, and I'm going to see where it goes. So, but I was talking about a bunch of things and on the other video, and they kind of went in a weird way. So, I don't want to go down that same path. So, but I will leave you with a little bit of information here. Eels. I know you weren't expecting that. Eels, like the little water snakes, the little, slimy eels, the fish. Did y'all know that no one knows where they come from? Like, seriously, they, whenever they catch eels and they cut them open and they dissect them and everything, there's no reproductive organs. There's no, male or female eel. It's just an eel. And scientists have been searching for years, I guess, this goes way back to like the early 1900s, 1800s. But basically, they do this big loop around like the Atlantic Basin. So they start off in the ocean as little tiny things, and they're swept away by currents, and they end up, getting where they run up against continents or countries, and they get up into the rivers. And if y'all know about fish, you can have saltwater fish, you can have freshwater fish, and occasionally there's some brackish water, but very, very rarely is there both. Not of the same species. Like one species can't just go, hey, I'm freshwater, nah, fuck it, I'm going out to the ocean. That shit don't happen. So the eels get up, and then they change their body where they can live in freshwater, and they become freshwater eels. Alright, and then they live for 5-10 years in freshwater rivers, and and a lot of people thought that they were all different species. It turns out it's all one eel, just at different points in its life. So then all these freshwater eels, they get, and they don't mature there. They're still kind of like adolescent eels, but they get to a point to where they're like, okay, this is played out, I'm going back to the ocean. So they go back in the ocean, revert back to where they can live in salt water and live out the remainder days of their life in salt water. Okay. Now here's the interesting part. As you know, like, people were catching baby eels in the ocean, and so this one guy, I don't remember his name, he went out and for like years, and I mean years, was going out and going all over the place, and you know, he kind of kept finding smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller eels. So he's like, okay, we're getting closer to where they come from. And again, y'all can look this up, where the eels come from. There's other videos that go way more deep, but I'm just kind of putting it out as a fun fact. But yeah, they come from the Bermuda Triangle. There's actually, I forget the name of it, some kind of Caspian or Saltian Sea or something like that. And it's so hard to find out exactly where they're coming from. But they are coming from the Bermuda Triangle, which is like the northeast part of the Bermuda Triangle, I think it is. But there's so much like seaweed and just everything so crazy that they can't determine where they're actually coming from. And they can't figure out where, like, when they become adults, they go back to the Bermuda Triangle, kind of just go away. So for all the conspiracy theories that thought that there's a wormhole in the Bermuda Triangle, you might be right. But it's kind of one of them things that, you know, it's, you would think that somebody would have figured it out by now. You know, it's like, I don't know, I just thought that was a very interesting thing. Just like turbulence. You know, when you have turbulence in water or air or something like that, like, they know how it's created, but they can't predict it. In other words, they can't say, okay, this piece of air is going to fly over here and this piece of air is going to fly over there. And I know most people will not find it, but I find that very interesting, because they can sit there and shoot a rocket into space with math, okay, and they'll say, okay, at this time you hit this jet for 2.2 seconds and it'll change the trajectory to here, and this, you know, and they got all this stuff to where they can pinpoint a lot of things with math, and something as simple as, you know, someone splashing in a pool, they can't predict. And I think it's more about computing power. You know, the computers aren't strong enough or have enough, not memory, but they don't have enough, you know, computing power to kind of do them kind of equations. It's little things like that, you know, kind of make me wish I wasn't a door installer. Like, I really should have been in some kind of field of science. I don't know which one. I mean, I'd probably, you know, history of some sort. But then again, all that is parroting all the stuff that everybody already knows and saying, could it be different? Anyways, but yeah, eels. Who would have thought? Bermuda Triangle. Also, something else. Speaking of history and other things, how is it there are so many different religions that have snakes as the bad guy? I mean, I don't know of any religions where the snake is the good guy. It's always the god of death or the god of this bad shit going down. It kind of, I know about symbolism, I know, you know, mythology, and, you know, you got all these different stories of religion and everything else, and, you know, like I said, I've studied a wide variety of different religions, and I'm starting to really deep dive into a lot of mythologies, which is basically religions that are so crazy that we don't accept them as being real. We just say they're made up stories, but they're not. that was their religion. That's what they believed. The gods of Greek and North mythology, the Vikings, and you got the Roman gods, and you got the Egyptian gods, and and then you have all the different Lord have mercy, all the Indian gods, and I'm talking about India with the red dot, not the feather. Yeah, I know I was not PC there, but I really don't give a shit. But and then speaking of Indians, Native Americans, you got the Hopi Indians, which have one hell of an origin story, and all the different gods of Incan and Mayan religion. But all of them collectively across the world have said snakes are the bad guys. It's gotta mean something. I don't know what. I don't know what. I mean, this like, if I had expendable income to where say, okay, I don't have to work, this would be the shit that I would do all day. Once I sell off everything, and once I get to a point to where, like, I don't need money, like, I really don't want money. I want enough to survive, but basically I'm just tired of excess. But I would love to be able to sit there and say, okay, let's go talk to all the smart people, or supposed smart people, see what all they have to say, sit down and have time to read all the books that I want to read, and just kind of basically be like a history detective. And speaking of snakes being the bad guys, there's a what's it? The Pope's worship hall in I think it's at the Vatican. You can look it up on Google, but damn it looks like a snake. I mean, I've read the conspiracy theories on it, but if you look at the outside, it has these two giant oval stained glass windows on each side. The roof comes up the center and then has the, basically like the hood of the eye. And it kind of looks like a snake from the outside. And then you go inside. And this was pointed out to me. I did not come up with this on my own. But this is pointed out to me that if you're in the audience looking at the Pope, it looks like he is, from a certain point, like he is the mouth of the snake. All right. And then if you turn around and go on stage and look at all the people in the audience, the way the building is structured, it looks like the snake is eating them. And I know there's tricks with photography, and you can make things look however you want. And I'm not saying that the Pope's a bad person. I'm just saying it's very weird architecture for a religious building, which every single picture I've seen of inside and outside of the religious building, there's not one cross on a Catholic monument or worship hall. No crosses. They do have a really cool statue of Jesus, though. Oh man, if you have a chance to see that, it is absolutely horrendous. You thought I was going to say beautiful. It's not. It's absolutely horrendous. It is basically Jesus coming back from like an atomic explosion with skulls and death, and what the hell's going on in the world? Google that shit. It's the it's where he meets all the big guys, like all the bishops and everything. But it's at the Vatican, and it's the Pope's Worship Hall, I believe it's called. Or you can just look up Pope Snake Building and you'll be able to see it. But look at some of the images, and if you want to go down a little conspiracy theory thing, do that. I'm not saying nothing. I'm just pointing out what has been shown to me, But yeah, I think I'm going to stop and grab me some barbecue for dinner tonight. I've been eating chili for like the past 3 days. tired of chili and crackers. But yeah, but I find it very interesting that snakes are always the bad guy, and this is nothing. Forget about the boat thing, but that snakes seem to be the bad guys in every religion. And then we have, the modified snakes of India, of China, of Mongolia, and of the Vikings, to where they're dragons. So, and where the hell did a dragon go? Unless you want to say, okay, because dinosaurs are reptiles and they have hollow bones, which means they most likely flew, then in theory, you got the T-Rex, this giant massive thing with these little tiny arms, unless they were used to hold wings instead of being like this. What if they were like this? So, and that's just crazy talk from a crazy guy, but if a T-Rex had hollow bones, and I've heard some, I've never really looked at it, but or some dinosaurs have hollow bones, that's only used in birds for flight. So, anyways, what in the world is, that's a bus behind me. I think it's a bus or it's someone's house. I don't know. And another Hispanic family, I wonder if they were dropped off. A lot of Hispanic families, just randomly walking around. Nothing against it, nothing, I remember seeing them ones that were dropped off, and now every time I see one, I'm thinking, were they dropped off, or are they just randomly walking around with a whole crap load of kids? So, but yeah, today's video as a recap is, I'm not working this weekend. Eels are evil spawn from the Bermuda Triangle. Snakes rule the world right now. And T-Rexes are maybe dinosaur or dragons, maybe. Yeah, fuck it, let's go with it. You guys have a wonderful weekend. I'll be doing a couple of videos. Right now I'm on a whole different thing up in my head. So yeah. But have a good weekend. Enjoy yourself. If you're in Florida, it's absolutely beautiful weekend. So go out and enjoy it and have fun with friends and family. Oh yeah, I lost a friend. I guess I said one thing on one video that, he didn't like. So we're no longer friends. So yay. I think I'm down to maybe 2 friends left. Maybe. And they're not even really friends because they don't ever answer the phone when I call and don't ever come over. But then, to be fair, I don't go over their house either because they're fucking nasty. But anyways. But yeah. I'm still having a fun day. God, I almost look high. I'm not high though. Just tired. Been out in the sun all day. Moving doors for the past 2 days. I got the flea market completely closed up, so it's wrapped up all the way around. So unless someone breaks in, nobody should be going in my booth. But that's it. Peace, love, money, and some barbecue. I'm out.